Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I would love for every girl who ever watched my videos on my YouTube channel to know that every dream that you may have can become a reality, and every dream that you have will come true. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will eventually come true and happen for you because you have so much inspiration that you have taken away from franchises such as Descendants and Zombies. I know for a fact, without a doubt in my mind, that I would not be here if not for each and every one of you. And I just want to let you girls know that I love when you hit the subscribe button because it lets me know that you love these videos and you keep subscribing to this YouTube channel because you love these videos. So I think that if every girl knew what existed inside of my heart, I think that every girl would hit the subscribe button because I was a huge fan of the original Descendants trilogy. Ever since 2015, I've been watching Descendants for over at least 100 times, if not 1,000 times, for the music, for the powerful script, for the message of how a girl can become stronger, eventually will become stronger even if she isn't. I think that everybody has drawn inspiration from Descendants one way or another for different reasons that separate them, but I think that everybody has become, stronger friends, built better relationships with friends, built better relationships with guys because of Descendants, and I think that that is absolutely lovely. And I have never ever wanted to take that away from anybody. All I've ever wanted to do is encourage you that every dream that you've ever had can come true. That's what Kylie Cantrell started off the Worlds Collide tour with, was saying that every dream that you have can become a reality, and it gave me the thought that maybe Kylie Cantrell perhaps has seen some of my videos on YouTube. I really don't know if she has or she hasn't. Nobody's ever let me know, but I would love to think that Kylie has seen these videos, honestly. I have been a fan of Descendants ever since 2015, but I have been a fan of Kylie Cantrell ever since her YouTube show, Hello Kylie, when she was reviewing shows like Victorious. And if I can quote the saying from Victorious, never be afraid to put your dream in action and let it shine. I love that song, Make It Shine, from Victoria Justice's show Victorious, the theme song of that show. I was incredibly supportive of Victorious years ago, so when I first saw Kylie Cantrell talking about it and reviewing on her show Hello Kylie, I said this YouTube show was going to go to superstardom ever before my YouTube show ever would, and it certainly did. And Kylie Cantrell has been given so many honors to play so many prestigious characters in franchises that she grew up idolizing, like High School Musical and Descendants, which she watched ever since the age of 9 years old. Descendants came out when I was 25 years old, and I still love it to this day. It's been 10 years, and I'm almost 40. And I remember watching Descendants when I was 25 years old. So to say it attracts a specific age demographic, I think is jumping to a conclusion. It really is jumping into a conclusion because it attracts all age demographics, and everybody has drawn inspiration one way or another for some specific reason from the Descendants franchise, rather than just because of the music or just because of a story that was told in a chapter of Descendants that you may have remembered, or the legacy of Cameron Boyce, or the legacy of a certain star like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, which obviously was defined through the success they saw in Descendants. I think that really what did it for us is that we believed that happily ever after could exist. We did believe that we could find our true love, and although it may have never worked for me, finding a true love, it certainly worked for a lot of people because it made them stronger people at the end of every conversation and the end of every day. I think that I must have watched The Rise of Red probably 100 times, perhaps. I really don't know, but I remember watching Kylie Cantrell drive a side-by-side through a rabbit hole and thinking that would have been really cool to have the opportunity to drive a side-by-side through a rabbit hole. The only experience I had driving a side-by-side was up in the mountains with a couple of my friends, and I was fearing for my life, thought I was going to die. But I thought it was so fun and really cool when I saw Kylie Cantrell have the opportunity to drive a side-by-side through a rabbit hole, honestly. If I could go back in time, that's one of the things that I would do in Wonderland. Now, they're saying that present-day Wonderland will be the focus of Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, and Ruby Rose Turner is not going to be a part of Descendants 5. And when I first heard the news of how Ruby was leaving the Descendants franchise, my heart was broken. I don't know how you can tell a story without Ruby Rose Turner, because Ruby, to me, was just... she was so genuinely kind. That was the thing about Ruby Rose Turner. I loved Ruby's personality. I loved how strong Ruby was. And Ruby is never given enough credit, in my opinion. Ruby is just a genuinely beautiful person who I love dearly. And I don't know how you can tell a story without Ruby. Now, I know Liamani Segura, coming in to play Red Sister Pink, is going to present a lot of confliction. There's obviously going to be a sibling quarrel. They're not going to see eye to eye from the very beginning of Descendants 5. I would imagine within the first 5 minutes of the movie, we'll see an introduction of Pink with some song, and and then we'll see some quarreling between Red and Pink, and that will exist perhaps for the first half an hour of the movie, and then something will present itself where they'll have to get along for the rest of the movie, and eventually they will patch everything up and they will fall in love with each other and appreciate family perhaps more than they did going into it. But I think that Liamani Segura, given her resume, I've had a chance to look at her resume and some of the stuff she's done, gives me confidence in her ability to portray Red's sister perhaps better than anybody else could have. And I know how Disney does it. Of course, they go through 100 actresses before they choose somebody. But I have this to say about Liamani Segura. Even though she's not Ruby Rose Turner, I think she is incredibly beautiful and she is fearless. She is built like a machine, so these action scenes should be quite easy, relatively easy for her to pull off. And I know that Kylie Contrell is built like a machine. I've seen a lot of her workout videos on TikTok, and I really appreciate that. And I would imagine that a lot of girls have been inspired to sign up for a gym now because of Kylie Contrell's workouts. I mean, I've seen a lot of her videos on TikTok, those leg press workouts she does, absolutely phenomenal. The workouts of Ruby Rose Turner, they are very hard to find, but if you do find a Ruby Rose Turner workout video, they are actually really inspiring, and I think a lot of girls have drawn inspiration from that, because a lot of people say they want to get into acting because of Kylie Contrell, they want to get into acting because of Ruby Rose Turner. And let me just say this, if Ruby is the live-action Rapunzel for the live-action Tangled, I'm going to be front and center for that. I'm going to be one of the first guys to purchase a ticket for the live-action Tangled. I know it's been a long time coming, and there have been a lot of reports suggesting that Sabrina Carpenter will be Rapunzel for the live-action Tangled, and she's the most likely to don the role. But the way I feel about Sabrina Carpenter is I've watched Sabrina Carpenter ever since 2014, early 2013. And I remember on the show Girl Meets World, and I think she was just so overrated. She was just kind of immediately thrown out into the spotlight, into the media, and immediately everybody just started criticizing Sabrina Carpenter, so much so that she became overrated, kind of like Taylor Swift years ago, off of her debut album Success Tim McGraw in 2008. That was over almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago, I think. I remember listening to some of Taylor Swift's first songs, and she was just blowing completely out of proportion. And I think never enough credit was given to people like Kylie Contrell for the Cicera YouTube show, which had 500,000 views in less than a year. That's a dream of mine, to put up over 500,000 views on this YouTube channel. I know that's a long way from ever happening, but I do get over 1,000 views a day. And I know that I wouldn't be getting over 1,000 views a day if not for each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you have shown this YouTube channel. Descendants has a rating of 6.4. Zombies is coming behind it with a rating of 6.2. So there isn't much of a margin that separates both of them. But I think it's just incredible when you see the success that Descendants and Zombies has had and how many memories it's left us with, because it represented second chances. It inspired people to stand up to their bullies and what they believed in. It inspired me to move into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could have exploded. How freaky of a coincidence was that? I think it's going to be a franchise that's really going to last for forever, or at least one can only hope that it's going to last forever. And here's the thing. I have never ever wanted to take the chances of Descendants 5 or Zombies 5 ever happening away from anybody, regardless of when and how it happens and how it's derived. I have never ever wanted to take that away from you. It broke my heart when I heard about how Dove Cameron was being treated in her relationships with Ryan McCartney and Thomas Doherty. I really think that Dove Cameron never had a chance to be herself. She was never as outspoken, and then Thomas Doherty looks at her and says, people like you more when you don't talk as much. And let me just say this, if I was in a relationship with Dove Cameron, she would have felt like herself more than Thomas Doherty and Ryan McCartney ever gave her credit for. I mean, many of you probably know this, but I'll tell you that Dove Cameron loves to read every night of her life. She loves to journal, and she loves to read. She loves to buy books, orders a lot of them online. And I remember one feed she did on TikTok one night where she was showing the fans. She was so proud that she had gotten a new book that she wanted to, dig her teeth into and start reading. And she showed it to you guys ever before she read it, and she was so excited. You didn't see her showing that book to Ryan McCartney or Thomas Doherty at the time. I think she was living with Thomas at the time, and he was nowhere to be seen. There are so many qualities that a girl possesses that I think a guy kind of undermines and overshadows with everything else going on in his life, because his life seems to be more significant and more important. I really don't know the answer for that. And I'm a guy myself, and while I can't speak for many guys out there, I know that a guy tends to never prioritize a girl over everything else happening in his life and appreciate the little things that makes a girl so happy. And I think that if more guys, prioritize the little things that make a girl happy, I think more relationships would work out for the better. And I better shut up now, because I'm going to have a million girls hitting my subscribe button. But I think that if Thomas Doherty, for instance, would have noticed the smaller things about Dove Cameron, just the little things like how she loved to read, how she loved to journal, and how much she appreciated it so much, I think that their relationship probably would have worked out for the better, and Dove Cameron probably would have had more opportunities. I loved her as the voice of Bubbles in the live action, what is it, the Powerpuff Girls Chemical X. I loved her as that. And I loved Kylie Cantrell in every role that she had, from Gabby Dern and the Unsittables. I think that was a very unique role for her to have. Tony in High School Musical, the series. And you're going to have to forgive me. I have a frog stuck in my throat, some kind of zombie infection. Every night after I come in through that window, I'm plagued by a zombie infection. Perhaps it has something to do with how I've been hunting vampires and zombies for forever. But getting back to Kylie Cantrell, I loved her on the show High School Musical, the series. I loved her on Gabby Dern and the Unsittables. I loved her on her YouTube show Hello Kylie. And if there were 500,000 views put up on this YouTube channel, yours truly can be credited for at least 100,000 of those views. It broke my heart just last year. It's not even been a year since Kylie Cantrell posted that video where she was crying about her point of view about Donald Trump and her relationship, and it just really upsets me, because Kylie Cantrell is such a beautiful person who doesn't deserve to be held down or discouraged from every dream that she has. When she's telling you to aspire to achieve all of your dreams, we shouldn't be holding Kylie Cantrell down from her dreams, because all her dream ever was wanting to entertain you and to be known for entertaining you. I don't think it was necessarily to be in the public eye and to be famous. I think what it was she just wanted to entertain all of you. And she had the opportunity to do that. It took her years to be discovered, but from the first time I laid eyes on Kylie Cantrell, I knew she was going to be something special. When I first was reviewing Taylor Swift years ago, I knew she was going to be something special. I had the opportunity and the honor of having the chance to review some of Taylor Swift's earlier work before a lot of you ever saw it, before her first album ever came out. I worked with Big Machine Records years ago, but that wasn't yesterday. And I just had this gift. I knew that stars really had it. I knew that Ariana Grande was going to be something special. I reviewed some of her work. I reviewed some of Taylor Swift's work, and I knew they had something special. So I was one of the driving forces behind their success, along with all of you who instantly fell in love with people like Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift. I was looking at Mila Baker's Facebook fan page earlier today, and it blew my mind that she only has 89,000 followers. That's all she had, 89,000 followers to Kylie Cantrell's 450,000. I think we've got to hit the subscribe button a little more from Mila Baker, because she did a great job as Chloe Charming. Now, I know that I don't talk a whole lot about Mila Baker, but perhaps it's because she hasn't really had that much of an opportunity. I know I loved her on the show Are You Afraid of the Dark, Curse of the Shadows in 2022, because I was home. I couldn't go anywhere because of the pandemic. So what I started doing was I started following shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark, shows I hadn't watched in forever. So because I was home, stuck at home because of the pandemic, didn't want to go anywhere, didn't really feel like kicking a whole lot of ass like years ago. If I would have ran into Taylor Lautner or someone on the street, I probably would have punched them in the face. And I've had issues with Taylor Lautner and those guys before in the past. For some reason, I've received a lot of fame on YouTube for talking about a lot of celebrities like Ryan Reynolds. Really, years ago, it started with Lindsay Lohan. I started talking about Lindsay Lohan, and I achieved worldwide popularity for that. Then I started talking about Ryan Reynolds and achieved worldwide popularity for that. Ryan McCartney and his relationship with Dove Cameron and achieved worldwide popularity for that. But I have never been this famous on YouTube for talking about a specific niche. And I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I like to believe that somewhere, somehow, I have inspired people to either create their own YouTube, or to join a gym, or to become stronger, or to become a painter, or to show the world how good of a drawer you are. I like to believe that I did that somewhere, somehow, and of course it's all because of the passion that has brought us all together, Descendants and Zombies. One thing I have really wanted to try to instill in your minds is that we will see Descendants 5, we will see Zombies 5, regardless of when it happens. I don't think we should really take into consideration what the other critics out there are saying, that they've made enough Zombies movies, they've made enough Descendants movies. I think eventually we will see that, because I think a lot of people are just tired of seeing Descendants and Zombies movies having been created. I just read an article just yesterday about how the first Descendants movie had received over 100 million streams in total on Disney Plus, and that's just on Disney Plus alone. 100 million streams is incredible. A total of 781 million streams on social media altogether is incredible. I think that the Descendants and Zombies franchises are two of the most powerful of all time. And if there was a Disney franchise to have been a fan of, I was a fan of it. I was the biggest fan of Hannah Montana. I was the biggest fan of Wizards of Waverly Place. I was the biggest fan of High School Musical. I was the biggest fan of Phineas and Ferb. And I just want to put it out there that I do know I have a lot of fans of Phineas and Ferb and Tangled subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I do love talking about that too. But you've got to understand that the popularity of Descendants and Zombies is just unbelievable, and it blows my mind every single time I see the friendships of Mila Baker and Kylie Control being put on display. I can never seem to get enough of it. And the thing about me that is very rare in a guy, a quality that a guy I think should possess, is understanding just how much a friendship with a girl between another girl really means. What I mean by that is if you're a girl and you have a friend who is another girl and you have this inseparable bond, I think that's something that a guy really needs to understand. And if he actually sits down and watches the Descendants franchise with you, he should notice the friendships between Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson and Kylie Contrell and Ruby Rose Turner and Mila Baker, for instance, because friendships between two girls is inseparable. It's an unbreakable bond, and no matter how many times a guy tries to come in between that bond, it will never be severed. It will never vanish. It will never cease to exist, because a girl's friendship with another girl is unbreakable and impenetrable. And I know that a lot of guys have tried to really express their concern about how close girls are, but I mean, there's a difference between a friendship between a guy and his guy friends and a girl and her girlfriends, because a girl and her girlfriends understand each other a lot better than what two guys probably do, or three guys who hang out all the time. You know, I had a lot of guy friends in high school. I had probably 3 or 4 really good friends. One of my really good friends' names was Craig, and he was one of those indie rockers, and he was always spending his time writing music and practicing music with his band. They were called Frozen Nebula. It's a really freaky name for a band, I know, but he always used to be involved with Battle of the Bands and stuff like that, and that's how I got involved with, the technical aspect of Battle of the Bands, and ended up falling down through stages during stage productions of Phantom of the Opera and stuff like that, because he always inspired to be a indie rocker, and I was never really into that kind of thing. But no matter how close I was with my friend, we just eventually drifted apart, and we haven't talked in years. Actually, the other day he added me on Facebook, and I haven't spoken to him since. But that's the thing. A girl will add another girl on Facebook, and they'll start talking within 5 minutes, and you'll see smiles on their faces, and they'll always be looking at pictures of each other, and they'll always be leaving these cute comments and stuff like that. I think that's what a guy really needs to understand, is that a girl just feels special when she's talking to her girlfriend, and she feels as if she can tell her girlfriend anything she can't necessarily tell a guy, and then a guy's left in the dark wondering why a girl won't tell him why she feels the way she does, because there's just something about that unbreakable bond between two girls that just is inseparable. And I think that if more guys understood that, point being, relationships would work out for the better. Now I'm going to shut up, because a lot of girls are going to be hitting my subscribe button because of this video, and I have no business offering you relationship advice or advice on your friendships, because that's what got Ryan McCartan in trouble on YouTube a few years ago. But the thing is, I really do I want you girls to know that if you have a friendship with another girl and you value it, I think that is absolutely incredible, and that deserves to be respected. I have a lot of respect for you for having that and not allowing any guy to tell you any different. If you have a heart big enough to share it with another girl and share your deepest secrets with her, then you have something very special in this life. And that's what I think Kylie Contrell and Mila Baker have definitely demonstrated a lot through their relationship. I can't believe that Kylie Contrell has never watched Shrek. Hopefully Mila Baker did something about that, and they had a slumber party where they watched Shrek together. Actually, I have a copy of Shrek. I've showed it to you guys before in my videos, so if Kylie Control wants to come here and hang out with the cast of Descendants and shoot Descendants here in Newfoundland, well, I've got copies of virtually everything from Shrek to The Notebook to P.S. I Love You. I gotta shut up. Girls are probably saying to themselves, Jonathan, tell me more about your life. Just keep talking. You don't necessarily have to talk about Descendants. Just keep talking. What do you do? What do you do with your days? What do you do with your time? I play a lot of video games, and I collect a lot of Disney stuffies. Like Mickey Mouse has always been a very special part of my life, and he's always I don't know if you guys can see him. My screen is out. Oh, here we go. Mickey Mouse has always been a special part of my life, and he's always reminded me, he's always been a constant reminder that you just always have to be happy with your existence. And the more happier you can be, the better off your life is going to be. That just allowed me to put Mickey up next to me here. Yeah, I collect a lot of Disney stuffies and video games, and I've had a lot of fun. I had this really good friend years ago, and he used to tell me that, you can always try to perceive yourself as being somebody that you're not, or you can just spend your life, the days of your life, out being somebody that you want to be represented through and what your legacy should be defined through. And that's what I prided myself on ever since I had that conversation with him, because there was a point in time in my life when I was going through a lot, and he said the best person that you can be is yourself. And you don't need a whole lot of friends in this lifetime. You just need a few really good ones. That was advice that was given to me by my mom. So with his help and my mom's help telling me that I didn't need a whole lot of friends, just a few really good friends in my life, and his advice of just being yourself, I've lived by that vicariously. You know, I've always loved cartoons, which is why I sympathize with Meg Donnelly and her love for the show Bluey, because of its powerful message of kindness. I've always loved playing horror survival games because you can never be too prepared for a zombie apocalypse. And from reports that I've been reading online, they are suggesting that an alien probe is on the way to Earth. It's the size of a football field, and if we were to buy into that, we would all be on the brink of death. Apparently, it's supposed to arrive just before Christmas, so I guess a lot of people are going to be saving a lot of money this year around the holidays when that probe touches down and kills us all. But I want you all to know that if you do elect me as President of the United States, there will be something done about that, because what will happen is I will put in a plan of action. I will finally give Kylie Contrell a president that she can be proud of. Ruby Rose Turner will be able to have a smile on her face forever. Actually, Ruby can perform that song, Life is Sweeter Than You Are, at my inauguration. On the night of my inauguration, I'll make sure that Ruby and Kylie are there to perform that song and do that cool dance, and I'll even dance with them on stage when I'm inaugurated as President of the United States, because I think that Kylie Contrell's tears being wasted over Donald Trump has been happening for far long enough. And I don't know, I just wanted to give Kylie Contrell a president that she could finally be proud of, and I wanted to create this YouTube channel so that when Kylie Googled herself, at least Kylie would know that there is a guy out there that really does love her and has achieved worldwide popularity for wanting to vertical suplex her man. And I would really love to take myself up on the opportunity to be in a nightclub somewhere, and Kylie Contrell's ex-man walk into the nightclub, and I just vertical suplex his ass, because I'm strong enough to do that. I mean, look at me, man. I'm built like a machine, so I could definitely do that. Stop laughing. I think that Descendants 5 is going to be an incredible movie. It looks really, really cool. The costumes look amazing. The new characters that are going to be seeing their introduction into this. I just mentioned how I think that Liamani Segura is built like a machine. She's definitely going to be a huge asset in these action scenes. I always wanted to be the guy that was dangling from a catwalk fighting for his life in a movie like Zombies. And you girls can make that happen by hitting the subscribe button. Because I can promise you this, there is no guy out there that loves you more when you hit the subscribe button than what I do, and who loves Descendants and Zombies as much as what I do. Because I really do take great pride in being able to create these videos for each and every one of you, and I just love it so much. I always wanted to create a show that would attract a specific niche and thousands of subscribers, and I found that in the incredible love and support that you guys have shown this YouTube channel, which I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. I really don't. Because I have talked about a lot of stuff on YouTube over the years. Sometimes it never really has made a whole lot of sense, and I just wanted to create something special for you that you would love. And I think I may not have the best Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel on the internet right now, but I think I've got one of the best, if not the best, and I just want you to know that every dream that you have can come true, and I really don't care what that dream is. Joining the cheerleading squad, joining the football team, joining the swim team, joining track and field. I really believe that you can do that, and I really believe that somebody is going to hit the subscribe button because they believe they can do that, and they love Descendants and Zombies so much. You know, because of you guys, I am more famous than any of my other friends that have YouTube. I have this one friend who blows shit up on his science YouTube channel, and he doesn't even have 50 subscribers. I'm beating out every girl who lifts weights on YouTube now. I don't think there's a bodybuilder on YouTube who's a girl who has more subscribers than what I do. And that's insane. That's crazy. They might have 1 million views, but they mightn't even have 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. I honestly don't. They are suggesting the release window for Descendants 5 with Wonderland is between now and summer 2026, and the release window for Zombies 5, no matter what the title, will be between now and summer 2027. I'm really excited to see where we go from here with these franchises, and I'm just thrilled to be with you guys on this incredible journey that you guys have got me on for the better part of the last decade. I may not have been uploading videos 10 years ago about Descendants of Zombies, perhaps a scattered video about Descendants of Zombies, but now you've got a podcast on YouTube that is solely devoted to Descendants of Zombies, which makes this experience that much more enjoyable and that much more fun. And now you can YouTube videos about your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars and the two franchises, and at least enjoy watching the videos apart from hearing all this negative criticism towards people like Kylie Cantrell, Meg Donnelly, Dove Cameron. I've heard enough of it, and I just wanted to put a stop to it. So if you girls would kindly flex your muscles and hit the subscribe button for this YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it, because it's really an honor being able to sit here behind this podcast microphone and critique Descendants of Zombies for you in a way that it's been meant to be critiqued for far long enough now, and I'm just honored to have that bestowed upon me. Thank you so much for having made me the voice of Descendants of Zombies. So I will be back later on this evening and throughout the night with a couple of more podcasts dropping on this YouTube channel at some point throughout today. Thank you so much for keeping me in your heart and having made me the voice of Descendants of Zombies. It really is an honor. Be kind to one another. With that having been said, bye YouTube. We will do this again in just a few hours from now.